first found out I was HIV positive, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
Because, I had no idea. And it was a month before I saw a specialist. So it was a scary month.
Yeah.
But I spent most of that month doing my own research, finding out just as much as I could about it. And then when I talked to my doctor said he had many discordant couples, which means that one person has HIV and one does not. And that even those people are having babies and the babies are healthy. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. Not only am I not going to die, I'm going to live a healthy life. And, the statistics show that we live almost as long as everybody else does.
So, ladies and gentlemen, hello. You can see me in the corner of the screen, and you can obviously see that I have a guest for today's episode of Sharing Stories. This is Nicole, and Nicole is in North Carolina. Nicole is living with HIV, and I came across her through a Facebook group that she'd started. And I just wanted to get her on the show and just let you know a bit more about her. So, Nicole, welcome to Hart Talks.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Why has it been so important for you to do this?
Well, initially I was going to do it last year when I thought that I was 4 years undetectable, but I wasn't quite ready, so I figured I'd wait till 5. Gotten totally used to living just my normal life with it, and realizing that I am in the smallest demographic that is HIV positive, but also one of the fastest growing demographics with HIV.
Yeah.
Dating has been miserable because I always feel like I have a secret. Once I wrote my story and started off with an explanation about U equals U and all of that, I felt really good about sharing.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Nicole, could you just give a quick explanation of what U equals U means?
U equals U means that once you're diagnosed with HIV, you can take medication to become undetectable, which is the first U. The second U means you are untransmittable. So undetectable means that you are untransmittable, U equals U, and you cannot give HIV to anyone else.
Now for me, when I found this out, Nicole, I just thought it was amazing. How has it been, I think for us emotionally, it's a big thing, isn't it?
It is. It definitely is.
Yeah. How have your friends and family been about you being so open about having HIV?
I had told a handful of friends before I came out on Facebook. I had told my family. They were shocked at first, as most people usually are. My friends, some of my friends, like my black friends, were like, it's no big deal because it's more common and I think it's more spoken about in the black community. And then my other friends were like, oh my God, what now? And then I explained it to them and I'm like, okay, but so you're going to be fine. And they were like, totally fine with it. Then coming out on Facebook, I have had nothing but love and support and like totally overwhelming support from everybody that I know on Facebook.
Obviously, I know what it's like here in the UK, stigma and how it's, it's often not spoken about. It's one of those things that we, is brushed under the carpet rather than to be spoken about. Not in all cases, but a lot of times. So how is it in North Carolina? Because I have no idea. So how is stigma, in North Carolina, as far as HIV is concerned?
It's very similar to the UK in that people don't really want to talk about it. Like I said, 5 years ago when I was diagnosed, I hadn't heard anything about it. And, I thought it was still considered a death sentence. A friend of mine who works in women's health got their most recent pamphlet from the American Academy of Gynecology. And the pamphlet doesn't even talk about HIV as an STD. It talks about like gonorrhea and syphilis and pregnancy over here, but nothing about HIV in there.
All right.
So I think it's very similar that people, they don't want to even acknowledge that it exists.
Okay. You started a Facebook group called This Is HIV.
Correct.
And so what led up to that? What, what was the build up to that for you?
Well, last year I was like searching hashtag HIV on Facebook and only found 2 of them. I had seen somebody with like, This Is ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And they had that on their Facebook picture. I'm like, well, hashtag This Is ALS. I'm like, that is perfect for a Facebook, especially profile picture. It's now available for profile pictures on Facebook, actually. Because this face, this white girl who, was in, at least at the time I contracted it, was in upper middle class America, has HIV. And that's just kind of, that's not the normal picture that people would see.
Yeah.
So I decided to start the group, and mostly to, again, inform people. North
Carolina, London, as I say, there are differences in certain respects, but how is care for people, like you said, you waited for a month?
I see an infectious disease doctor who specializes in HIV.
Okay.
I go every 6 months to get tested. I can go in anytime in between. If I feel weird or have questions, I can email him, and he's been absolutely fabulous as far as informing me about the disease at the beginning, not being so scared, all the information from him, because my primary care physician had no idea. She didn't know anything about it. And apparently, so she said, had no other patients in 14 years that were HIV positive, which I find shocking.
Wow.
I also have been to an HIV support group here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. It's a kind of a smallish city. And I was kind of surprised at the time because I hadn't done a lot of research yet. I was the only white woman and one of the only people that even had a car. The support group here, I think that's probably more of the norm and how people view people with HIV is low class, poor, drug addicts, people that have some other serious issues. So I was a little shocked. I didn't go back because I was looking for people like me, but I didn't find that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think definitely, there's that old stereotypical view of people with HIV. Here anyway, it's you're gay or you're a sex worker or you're a drug addict. And it's nice to see people who are not in that that group also talking about being HIV positive, because it's so important, isn't it, to make people realize that it's not. The virus is not fussy. It's not fussy.
Right. Does not discriminate.
No,
at all.
No, not at all, not at all. So, what is your, what do you see as the end goal for the Facebook group that you've started?
So, I would like to either do videos like this, things that either get publicized or are viewable all around the world. And just get out there to educate people and get them tested, which is the biggest thing, because most people in my situation would never think to get tested.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And if you said how scared you were and what you thought, the outcome was going to be when you were diagnosed. Now, 5 years later, if somebody came to you and said, I've just been diagnosed, I'm so scared, what would, if you could tell them one thing, what would that be?
The first thing I would tell them is it's going to be okay. It's not like it used to be. Because I think that's what everybody thinks. It's like it used to be.
Yeah.
Used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then, help them understand that they more than likely can achieve undetectable status, and it's not a death sentence. That's really the most important thing to initially find out.
Yeah. I think, I definitely here as well, there's still, people still have that vision of 30 years ago, of gaunt, skinny men dying,
Right.
one after the other, and definitely in the gay community, it's, I know it's, we were hit so hard by it, but I think the important thing about people just continuing to speak about it now, and different groups of people talking about it, is that it was also looked as a gay disease,
Right.
so it's great to hear other people talking about it as well. Tell us a bit about Nicole.
Just about my life in general.
Yeah, just about you as a person. Who are you? What what's your life besides the person living with HIV?
Right.
Because there's so much more to us, isn't there? Than
Yeah, there definitely is.
yeah,
I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids, a boy who's 20 and a girl who's 13. I have 3 dogs. I live in my own house. I'm not working right now. I haven't worked since my daughter was born outside of the house. I have an online business. I have a master's degree in counseling. And let's see, I'm an artist, really, for the most part.
Can I ask how your kids were? Well, your son, was his understanding any better, or did he even have any knowledge of it at all?
He didn't really know. I told him about a year ago, so he was like 19, maybe 18. And he was, scared as well, because I don't know if he even learned about it in school, other than, what people would learn about it 10 and 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So once I explained it to him, and he asked me numerous times, but you're going to be okay, you're not sick, like, you're not going to get sick, you're not going to die, then he was totally fine with it.
Right.
And I told my daughter just a couple days before I came out on Facebook, and she didn't know much about it other than the whole AIDS part of it, and not even much about that. So she was a little concerned, being younger and kind of processing it a little bit differently. It took her a little bit longer, like a day or so instead of a couple hours,
Right.
to, come to the understanding that mommy is just fine.
This is your chance to give a little shout out for where people can find you, and basically who the group is for.
Okay. If you look up hashtag This Is HIV, or you go facebook.com/groups/This Is HIV, then you'll come to the page. It's in like blues and greens with a little flower at the end. And I wanted the flower there because flowers are beautiful and healthy, and they're growing, and they're not withering and dying.
Mm-hmm.
So that symbolism was kind of neat to me. But the page is for anybody who wants a better understanding of what HIV is. There are a lot of links on there for U=U campaign, other international campaigns, and then there are also some studies. And then there's also articles that are more in layman's terms about the studies and the results of them. So it's mostly for education, but it's also for some support, or if people have any questions. And a lot of the members on there are involved in other HIV campaigns and programs too. So it's a good place to connect.
Yeah, all the details are going to be in the description box below. If you've got any questions for Nicole, please put them in the comment section below. I'll make sure she gets them. If there's anything that you want me to pass on to her, I am perfectly fine doing that. Thank you for doing what you do, Nicole. I've got a couple of friends who are also in the States who are doing similar things to you, and it's important. It's really important, and it's good for, I think it's good for us to see that there's new people coming in to this group, and and saying their piece, and doing their thing, and making people realise that HIV is a thing that you can live with. It's not something that anybody wants, but it is something that we can live with, and it's something we can be people can be protected against as well. So it's important to get that across, isn't it?
It is, very much so.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on Hart Talks. It's been great to have you on.
Thank you, Stephen.
No problem. Everybody, please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Hart Talks. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Bye.